Listen to the Voice of Survival podcast every other Friday, right here on the Journey into Comics Network. JourneyIntoComics.com.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
It's freaky as shit inside.
Warning, Podcastrophe imminent. This is Podcastrophe with Dick and Tyler, and we're coming at you with a fistful of heritage on a podcast where anything goes and there are no safe spaces. This is Podcastrophe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Podcastrophe. I'm your host, Dick. I'm here with Tyler.
Hey,
Had a
host here.
yeah, co-host, that guy. He's awesome. So I'm gonna just go ahead and lead off with we had a poll last week for Arnie's or Pizza King. Arnie's demolished Pizza King.
I wouldn't say they demolished him. They didn't. They only beat him by like 20%.
Had quite a few votes though, and I was pretty proud about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing these wacky polls every week. I was kind of towards the bottom of the barrel on ideas. I didn't want to jump into anything too controversial right out of the gate, so that's why I went with the pizza one last week. And the poll that we have going right now, I'm gonna instead of the polls being a week long, I'm gonna start setting them for 4 days, so we can have more polls more often instead of waiting a week to see the results that were decided on Wednesday. After I've posted it on Monday. So the poll this week is, out of the two of us, either Dr. Dongo or myself, who would you choose to be your lifelong best friend forever? And I got the early votes right out of the gate, and Dick is kicking my ass.
Yep.
So
Apparently people like me or something.
apparently,
Surprising. You guys are honestly failing the human race if you're picking me over him.
yeah,
I'm
just a pretty bad human being in general.
I'm just me. I'm nothing special. But
You're special to me.
so yeah,
You texted me the other day and you're like, I voted for you. And I said, yeah, I voted for me too.
I was like, you're already my best friend. I need to vote for you.
Right.
I can only be so much of a friend to myself.
Right. We are our own worst enemies.
So last week I posted a picture of 450 North's wonky nuggets, and I said that we were going to try it on the show, and we didn't at all.
No.
In fact, you went for the ripe nuggets first, and then I really wanted to try the fresh fruit,
They were both very good.
and so just didn't end up drinking the wonky nuggets. We didn't get to it. Last night at the Doom Room show, I went and saw Torn the Fuck Apart, which is an awesome death metal band from Kansas. Can't remember where in Kansas, but they're from Kansas.
All of Kansas sucks, so it doesn't really matter where they're from.
And then We'd Be played a set without Mr. Nick Maxon from Brews with Dudes. Unfortunately, he had some family emergency come up like just before the show, and he had to head out, so that sucks. But the show went on, and We'd Be played a pretty kick-ass set. It was completely new shit, save for like one or two songs that I've heard before.
That's cool.
But it was all instrumental, and it was really cool to be able to just listen and focus on the instrumental without vocals there. So now I know the songs a little better. But their sound itself was just out of this world.
Cool.
Last night I was really glad. But while I was there, they had a few backstock beers there at the North End Pub. Casey, the owner, he goes down to 450 North every once in a while, or he has somebody mule for him and brings back some beer. And he brought in some of his own catalog, his own library of beer. So he had some Slurpees there, some Crystal Vision, and he was supposed to bring Pot of Gold, but he actually wasn't there last night because I was going to drink some Pot of Gold with him. And
I would kill for some Pot of Gold.
Yeah.
That's good fucking beer, man.
That's some good beer, and I'm saving mine, the 2 I have left. But so some good old Tex Pedigo, guitarist for Weed Bee, he had some wonky nuggets there, and I was like, I really want to try it, but I said I'd try it on my show, and I eventually gave in and tried it, and I wasn't really a fan.
Which is rare for a nuggets.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like the ripe nuggets, and you didn't care for the wonky nuggets. So that's 2 weeks in a row we've both tried new nugget beers, and one of us didn't like one of them.
Good old this Friday, if you're listening tomorrow, they're releasing flapjack nuggets.
That's an interesting one.
Which is going to be a breakfast stout with maple syrup and sugar and all kinds of shit. And then they're re-releasing fruity and juicy nuggets, but they're doing times two, so they're like doubling up on everything.
Well, originally they're both single hopped IPAs, so now they're doubling your flavor profile by.
They're double dry hopping. They're double IPAs that are double dry hopped, and it's just twice of it's 2 times everything, and
which is pretty cool, especially if you've got a beer that people like. You know, it's good to throw something, kind of throw a loop at it every now and again. Like, you like this, well, what about now? You know, it might.
Right.
It could be a lot better. It could be not as good. You know,
we'll see.
That's how they kind of build.
I don't know if anybody. I don't know who's all going down there this week. So we might get to try it. We might not.
I'm gonna take a couple weeks off of buying 450 beer.
I'm gonna try to. I might buy like a 4-pack,
right?
Depending on what. But for the most part, I'm just gonna try to sneak on some Brews with Dudes episodes if they have any, and
I want to get back on there.
I do too. It's been a couple weeks. It's been
since Drunkastrophe.
Yeah. It's been a while for me as well because Nick just went on like a recording spree and recorded like 5 episodes within 2 or 3 weeks. And I mean, some of them are quick episodes, some of them are long ones, longy boys.
Longy boys.
But you just handed me this Boulevard Brewing Company Tropical Pale Ale with grapefruit and passion fruit, fresh exotic fruit.
I saw that in the store the other day. And it's one that I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody, or I don't know anybody that's tried it. Tried any of the Boulevard stuff. At least told me that they've tried it. And it's a brewery out of Missouri. I actually like it.
I'm good.
Give it another drink. I didn't like it the first taste either. You got to go back at it.
All right. Yeah, still don't like that.
Really?
It's kind of
It's like Rolling Rock with fruit.
Yes. It's definitely like a full. It's got a full mouthfeel, but
I like it.
There's not enough flavor. There's a lot of mouthfeel, but not enough flavor for me. You traded me your Kush nuggets for my wonky nuggets that I just don't want anymore, and so I'm just gonna drink that tonight.
I'll leave one of these for Miranda to try it. But
okay.
See, I
don't think she'll like that.
I actually get the fruit flavor.
Yeah.
I don't. It's weird that you're not getting it because normally I'm the one that picks out stuff that I don't get from the beer. You know.
Trust me, I tasted some fruit flavor. I just didn't like it, and there wasn't a lot of it.
I like it.
But yeah. So we had a pretty interesting pre-show. We got a little delayed here because we had to wait for the room to be clear. Good old roommate Captain Keyboard was playing Overwatch. Had to wait on him and yelling. So when he decided to leave to go get food, he got pissed because he found out we were waiting on him,
which we had already established.
Yeah, we had already established
15 minutes prior to that.
Yeah, and it's like, and he just kept. After this one, I'm gonna he was telling good old. I could hear good old Matt Wilcox over the headphones, but after this one, I'm gonna go get food, and then he starts another one, and he starts another one. It's like, dude, come the fuck on, dude. It's like, I do this every week, 5:30.
Right.
And it's not hard. Like, it's not hard to just, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to be like, okay, 2 hours every week for just one day.
Right.
And then, so he gets up, finds out we're waiting on him, and then
Makes a scene,
like flips his shit, I guess, in a sense, and leaves. And then he says, I'll be back at 8 o'clock because I'm raiding. It's like, cool. It's like, I'm going to be in there.
All right, Andy.
Cool. Like, what do you want?
It's whatever.
Yeah. I got basically another month left in here, and I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. So that was a great way to start the show.
Yeah, we would have had a pre-show otherwise.
Yeah. But
Want to
yeah,
taste that?
give it a taste, Miranda.
He didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
You're probably not going to like it either.
I don't think you're gonna like it. No.
I like it.
Ooh.
Sorry I did that to you. I'm really not sorry.
Hey, there's still some of the Slurpees in there if you want any of them. Yeah, those need to get drank.
Consumed.
I'm aware that what I'm saying
I'm not
is
arguing
wrong.
with you. I'm just saying a different word.
I still got the raspberry, I think. I got a double cherry, and I
still have the original 4-pack that I bought.
Oh shit! And I got a pineapple in there too.
I've got one pineapple, and
The
then I
double
have my original.
cherry. The double cherry's been my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. God, here we are again, and fucking just doing nothing but talking about beer.
Yeah.
like it's brews with dudes, but it's not.
We're mini-Brews.
We're mini-Brews with dudes. Yeah. So we saw some Deadpool last week.
Yeah, we did. And I made some bold statements about Deadpool.
You sure as fuck did.
And I'm going to repeat those bold statements.
I cannot. I'm just gonna preface this with, I cannot, in good conscience, stand by what you say. Not
Okay.
entirely.
All right. Well, okay.
There's at least one thing that you say that I cannot stand by.
This film, knowing how I rate films, everybody that's listened to our podcast knows that my biggest thing when I go to the movies, when I watch a movie, is the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to IMAX. We drove an hour to the largest screen in Indiana at the State Museum. Had really good seats. The popcorn was actually really good, and they didn't even put any butter on it. So, we're in comfortable seats. And,
we were.
And we're in good company, and I've got my popcorn and my giant drink, and it really didn't cost me that much more than when I normally go to the theater. So I'm kicked back, and I'm relaxed, and I'm ready to go, and from start to finish, that movie was nothing but flawless.
Hell yeah.
I cannot complain about anything, whether it's the movie, the experience, the people. There weren't people being obnoxious.
No.
At one point, I laughed hysterically for like 3 minutes, and nobody gave a shit. For a movie to make me laugh that hard in the theaters is not something that happens very often. And I'm not ashamed to say that in my opinion, my slightly film educated opinion, Deadpool is the best movie I've seen in the last year. That's the last 12 months. So that includes The Last Jedi.
Honestly, yeah, I can agree. Definitely better than The Last Jedi. And I loved The Last Jedi.
I did too.
I am someone that fights for that movie.
Yep, me too. This film was better than Infinity War to me.
And that is where I draw the line.
Because it's the total package, Blaine, and that's why I say it's better. If I'm just comparing movie to movie,
yeah, as a standalone,
it is not standalone. It is not better than Infinity War, but it beat Infinity War opening day.
Yes.
So, I mean, it already made more. It didn't make more money for the entire weekend, but it made more money on the first day. That's saying something.
Yeah.
You are now competing against the Juggernaut. You see what I did there?
I did. I see what you did there.
But I'm not gonna dissect the film or get into it because this is one that I don't want to spoil for anybody because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't expect.
We're almost a week out, and we'll give it another week to breathe.
Yes.
But
I'm glad that somebody else did that besides me because
that's the first time I've ever done it.
I'm normally the only one that does that.
That's the first time I've ever done it, and I felt like I feel like a weight's off my shoulder now that I've done it myself. We might even I've been thinking about possibly even doing its own special episode.
I would like that,
like an extra,
because
so you might get this week you got double the Poor Report. Maybe next week or some week you'll get double the Podcastrophe. Who knows? Maybe not live stream, but definitely recording.
Yeah. Well, and you want to see it again. I want to see it again. Both of our significant others want to see it again. So that would be a good time to do it. Maybe we could have Skylar and Miranda on the show.
Yeah. What a great day, by the way. That was a fun day. It was a beautiful day. I mean, it looked like it was going to rain. I think.
Well, it did rain.
Oh well.
It poured down rain at my house, and then it stopped just when it was time to start cooking lunch. So, yeah, we had a good lunch. The drive wasn't terrible either to or from. The fucking theater was badass, and I was surprised it wasn't packed.
Yeah.
Every time I've been to an IMAX, the theater's packed, except once. When I saw Interstellar, my wife and my uncle and I went and saw it, and we were literally the only 3 people in there.
Ooh, I would have loved to see Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar in fucking IMAX was badass. Man.
I would have loved that.
And it was on a screen. It was on a screen the same size as the one that we saw on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
I love that movie itself.
Yeah, Interstellar's great.
I think so the only other IMAX experience I have to compare this to is when I saw was my first one, which is when I saw
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens, and that was at 4:00 in the morning. That was a 4 a.m. showing, and that theater was packed.
I could believe it.
Because I mean, it was in fact opening weekend,
right?
But it was 4 a.m. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But and I based off that experience, that's how I picked our seats this time because I thought, well, I was pretty close to the screen before. I think that screen's big enough that if we sit in the very back, it'll be fine. It'll be perfect.
I loved our seats that we ended up with.
I liked it too, but I think I would have liked a few rows forward.
Forward?
Yeah.
Really?
But I think when I saw Force Awakens, we were pretty damn close to either the middle or closer to the front, and that was just too much for me.
Right.
I had to literally.
Well, even with reclining seats.
Yeah, I had to
literally
pan my head according to what I wanted to see on the screen,
right.
which is crazy. That's absolutely nuts. But I mean, either way, I think I eventually got used to it. I adjusted.
You gotta utilize your peripherals.
Yes, and I did. We got another. So I'm not going to get away from Deadpool quite yet. We're not going to go into spoiler territory.
Yes.
I absolutely love this movie. This movie is every bit as good as the first one, if not better.
I think it's a lot better than the first one. I think the cast in this film.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a broken record now. Every movie that we've really enjoyed, I've talked about how good the cast is.
Yeah.
I did it with The Last Jedi. I did it with fucking A Quiet Place. The cast for that film was fantastic. But though the Deadpool character that we're getting on screen is a little bit over the top from the early Deadpool comics, and that's one of the only things that fans complain about. They love Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but at the same time, fans are complaining that the original Deadpool and the Deadpool we have now are not the same characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. I don't know that you could have put anyone in that red suit and done a better job than Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Because, you see
you
Ryan
can't.
Reynolds and it's like, man, that's fucking Deadpool. I mean, it's like shit like Chris Pratt and fucking Peter Quill. I mean, who else would you have cast as Star-Lord? I mean, Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. Who else? And that's part of the problem, I think, going forward with Disney acquiring all these properties, or Marvel reacquiring their shit, I should say. Who are you going to cast as Wolverine? I mean, I don't know that anyone is going to fill the shoes that Hugh Jackman fill Hugh Jackman's shoes, because though most of the X-Men movies have been really bad, he has always kind of, even in fucking Origins of Wolverine, he still did a phenomenal job. So, I don't know. That's going to be hard going forward, but go see this film 100%.
Oh, yeah,
You will want to see it again.
It's easily... It's one of my favorite movies.
Josh Brolin does a fantastic job as
Again,
Cable.
Josh Brolin kicking ass.
Yep.
Like, he knocks it out of the park.
Well, and his Cable is very subtle.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch 90s X-Men cartoon, Wolverine in the yellow suit and Cyclops being a homo all the time. That's not me attacking the homosexual community. That's just me using a word. Don't get mad, people.
It's him attacking Cyclops.
Yes, because
Which you should be mad about.
I fucking hate Cyclops.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either.
He's a fucking douche. So's Jean Grey. Fucking worthless fucking mutant. But anyway, if you go back and watch 90s X-Men cartoons, you see just how fucking weird Cable is. Mm-hmm. It is fucking over the top and fucking, I'm gonna time travel everywhere. And, I like Josh Brolin's rendition. It's not that.
Yeah, and there is absolutely... Okay, spoiler alert. There's no mention of him, of who he is.
Nope.
That he does not mention that he is Nathan Summers.
Nope.
He does not mention his origin, other than he's from the future.
Yep.
That's it. Which I liked.
You get his that he's from the future and why he's here. That's about it.
And that works for this particular section of the universe.
Well, it makes you want to know more.
Well, but honestly, for the Deadpool movies, that's not important.
Right.
Like, the characters' origins are not important. What's important is that they're there and what they're doing right there.
I don't see them going forward with, 2 years from now, I don't think we'll get a Deadpool 3. I think we start getting X-Force movies now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
My dad brings up a good point in the chat. There could be a spin-off movie for Cable, and that is a good possibility.
Or they could easily use him to integrate all of this into the regular X-Men universe.
Yep.
Which is still stuck in the past right now with the Dark Phoenix saga coming
Correct.
up.
So yeah, there's so much that they can do with, and I hope they keep Josh Brolin as Cable when Disney acquires this property. Mm-hmm. Definitely hope they keep Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
I don't see them replacing him.
I don't see them replacing him either.
I don't see them replacing really anyone.
But I've seen weirder shit happen.
Yeah.
I
mean, a year ago, Ryan Reynolds was talking about never playing a superhero again.
Right.
Yeah, he was talking about being sick of the industry and sick of the unrealistic expectations of the actor. Mm-hmm. Put on the actor to lose weight, trim up, put on a ton of muscle, but still stay completely shredded, and taking all these pills and shit, and he was tired of it.
Yeah.
Which, Ryan Reynolds, he's a tall guy, but he is quite muscular.
Right.
When he needs to be.
Well, and the thing about it, and part of the reason I like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool so much is he has such a good relationship with the studio and the producers and the directors.
I think that's just that speaks to who he is as a person.
Right, definitely. But if I've watched a couple interviews over the last week that, talking about him wanting things in the film, and they're like, we don't, and this is the studio, they're like, we don't know if we can do that. And he's like, come on, let's put it in there. And then he actually has the responsible mindset to say, you know what, that's a little bit too much over the top. Why don't we go with this instead? And he has a big hand in how these films play out. He has a lot of input. And like you said, that just speaks volumes for him as an actor, because how many movies have we watched, in our lifetimes, and the actors that are playing our favorite characters had no fucking say in what was going on. Fucking look at Fantastic Four. Do you think any of them had a fucking say? No.
Look at Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Oh God. Colin Farrell is fucking.
That's just
Bullseye.
A movie. Talk shit about Ben Affleck all you want. He didn't direct that movie.
No, and he is a terrific director.
Yes,
number
he
one.
is.
Number two,
And you still haven't seen The Accountant.
no, I haven't.
Oh my God.
I used to hate Ben Affleck for a lot of reasons. And then when I saw movies like The Town, and Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman now, and I hate Batman. I hate the character. That is one of the weakest fucking characters in superhero history. Just all around. Oh, my parents are dead. I'm going to get revenge by being a hero. Cool. That's been done 1,000 times. But Ben Affleck, much like Val Kilmer, and this goes back to me being the king of unpopular opinions, before Ben Affleck, Val Kilmer was my favorite Batman.
And he did. Okay, he was a good Bruce Wayne. That's what.
He was a phenomenal Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He was a mediocre Batman.
Yeah.
But he was my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
Because I just, George Clooney, George Clooney was terrible
Oh yeah.
either way.
And he often speaks out about
Right.
regretting that.
Yeah, he wishes that he could take those movies back. But, Val Kilmer was just my guy for so long. And then I saw Ben Affleck as Batman for the first time. And
Oh yeah. As soon as I heard it was announced, I was like, I spoke out.
right,
against
we
it.
all did.
I was like, oh no. And then you see the very first image, and it's the sad man, the sad fleck.
Yep.
He's just. He's like, but you look at it and you're like, holy shit.
But, and I think that's part of the reason so many people like Ben Affleck as Batman. We went into that film with such low expectations just for his character. That's Henry Cavill's film. That's not Ben Affleck's film. That's the way that I thought going into it. This is Superman's story. We're just introducing Batman a little bit.
Yeah.
And
but they balanced it.
They balanced it.
Because
And-
it is, as the title suggests, it is Batman, Superman.
Right. Say whatever you want about that film. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
I think, especially now after Justice League, I think, Warner Brothers and DC are finally starting to get their shit together. And that's sad because so many people have preconceived notions about Justice League because of what other people have said. You travel back in time to our episode where we talk about The Last Jedi, and I talk about people influencing other people's decisions when they haven't even seen the film. Man, I heard that fucking movie was bad. Man, he said that movie was bad. It's probably bad, So, I don't know. Back on track with Deadpool. I love Deadpool. He's not one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, but Ryan Reynolds and this studio has made me be interested in the character again. And that for somebody that's a fan to kind of light the flame under their ass to get involved in the character again, that speaks volumes for what kind of movie they put out.
Yeah. I definitely want to go back to the Batman versus Superman discussion.
That's fine.
Because I never really had this platform when it came out. So I'm just going to touch on this briefly. When it came out, I went and saw it with Nick Torres. We both walked out of that theater with with criticisms. He did not like the movie.
The film is not perfect. I want to interject and say that. The film is definitely not perfect, but I still enjoyed it.
So I walked out of there, and before he said anything about his thoughts on the movie, we went to Dog and Suds, and I started listing off my problems with the movie.
Okay.
My problem, and everything I listed, he completely agreed with, and I had a lot. I was like, it jumped from place to place too much. It was very poorly cut.
Yes, that is definitely much like Black Panther. The cinematography of that film is not very good.
It was so Zack Snyder, like
Right.
Zack
I think
Snyder
it was too
all
much
over
Zack
that.
Snyder.
Yeah, and so that was my biggest issue, is it was too jumbled together. And so that being said, despite all these criticisms, and I called every single one of them, everything I had a problem with, as soon as I started seeing reviews coming out of the fucking woodwork, fucking Kind of Funny, Rooster Teeth, all these guys, Kevin Smith, every single one of those things that I had a problem with, all of them had the same problems. I still enjoyed the movie.
Right.
Because I can go to a fucking movie and just enjoy it.
Right.
I don't need to pick apart a goddamn movie.
See, and I think that's part of the problem with Warner Brothers and DC right now. Their fans are so diehard, as far as DC fans, not Warner Brothers fans, that the movies are almost doomed to fail before they...
Fucking Warner Brothers fans. You don't hear about that kind of shit. You hear Marvel, DC, but never a studio.
Well, think about it.
I mean, I see it, but like it's like, oh yeah, I'm a diehard Warner Brothers fan.
God damn it, Blaine. If I didn't say that, some Warner Brothers fan out there was going to be pissed off. But
what's an obscure Warner Brothers movie that's not like part like all I can think of right now are the fucking DC movies and Harry Potter. But Harry Potter has its own like fan base, so it's not.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit Warner Brothers?
Oh my god!
I think it is. I don't know that for sure.
Either way,
I had to say it.
Let's carry on.
But the movies are almost doomed to fail because the fans are over criticizing. Especially the whole Martha thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that got fucking drug out of control. Get over it. It was a plot point. It had to be put in there. It made sense.
It was a plot point, and it didn't. It's not the fact that like I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but
one of the things that I complain about,
going
from Batman versus Superman to Justice League, where the fuck is Batman's fucking super bat suit? He's not wearing that fucking mechanical suit in Justice League. Where the fuck is that thing? That probably would have been good to put on, Bruce.
Well, he had a new one that wasn't as... It wasn't meant to go up... well, I don't know.
He challenged a god with technology.
Yeah.
You have god-level shit attacking you. Put the fucking suit on.
God tier. God tier equipment.
Put the shit on, Bruce. Come on.
He had his epic gear equipped.
Maybe fucking Superman wouldn't have broke all your fucking ribs and lacerated your spleen if you were wearing that fucking suit.
To be fair,
Dumbass.
I think the suit got destroyed.
Make another one.
Okay.
What's your superpower? I'm rich. Make a fucking another one. Jesus Christ.
You can't just sit there and... write a fucking movie, pal. Write a movie. Have you?
Yes. It's not very good. Hence why I'm sitting here and not in a director's chair. I think I would be a very good producer. I don't think I would be a very good director because I would be too nitpicky.
I'm an idea guy, and I'm more. And
are you a regular gay?
I'm just a regular gay.
Regular gay.
I'm an idea guy, and building upon that. Not only I'm sometimes come up with idea guy, but I'm more of the.
You're very good at building upon ideas.
Yes, exactly, and which is something
you're an accentuator. Which is
something I've always really prided myself on, and never got any recognition or.
I recognize you.
The ability to. My ideas have never really. Because going back to.
Star Wars fan fiction.
No. Going back to Nick's band Weed Bee, in its early days, I always had all these ideas for him because I was out of a band, and I'm like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this.
That's why I don't like this.
You don't like it either, huh?
Candied sugar and lactose. That's why I don't like it.
Let me give it another taste. He's going the wonky nuggets. I'm tasting it again from last night. Yeah, I still don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna finish it, but I don't really like it either.
I'm sure we can find somebody to trade for something.
I actually like that more than I like this.
The Kush Nuggets?
No.
Oh,
the Boulevard Tropical. Yeah. The next time I'm in the store, quick tangent. The next time I'm in the store, I'll grab another one of the beers that they have because they had a bunch, and I like that one. There's got to be one out there that you enjoy. And I like that they actually sell them in 6-packs and not 4-packs.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, back to Batman vs. Superman. I enjoyed the film. I urge anybody that has not seen the film to watch it.
Watch the ultimate cut or whatever.
Because there is a lot that you don't get in the theatrical cut that helps you enjoy the film a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Not much,
the
but-
film, I'll be completely honest, the film is not easy to like.
No.
It's not easy to praise. You have to not only be a fan, but you have to kind of wade through the bullshit to enjoy the film. And part of the reason I like what Warner Brothers and DC are doing with their current iteration of superhero films is, I'm bringing up, I love the cast so much. I hate, and I'm going to say this 3 times so people understand how much I fucking hate Superman and Batman. I hate them both. Terrible fucking characters. Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck did their best to make me like these characters again, and it worked.
Yeah.
I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love Ben Affleck as Batman. So if you have actors in a film that is reviewed as pretty bad, and it's good enough to make me like the characters, to want to watch more, that's why I watched Justice League. I didn't watch it for The Flash. I also don't like The Flash. What a shit character.
I love the Flash.
It's kind of my own hard-on that I have for DC. I don't like most of the heroes. I really like the villains.
Of course.
There's heroes that I like Blue Beetle. That's a badass fucking hero.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
He's a fucking, look him up. He's a cool fucking dude.
He's a cool dude.
Green Lantern's cool. Fucking
Green Lantern's cool.
Green Arrow's cool.
I love Green
Fucking
Arrow.
Martian Manhunter is badass.
I don't know much about Martian Manhunter.
He's fucking badass.
But I am definitely a huge fan.
Wonder Woman's fucking badass.
Yes.
Have you seen that movie? It's fucking great.
It's great. They talked about this. They talked about Wonder Woman a little bit earlier this week on Journey into Comics. Keith Evans.
Rep.
Did you listen? You listened to that episode,
Yeah,
right?
I listened to that episode. A lot of parallels with Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yes. I listening to that episode, and I've heard Keith on a few episodes before that. He was
Xfinity War.
Yeah. I couldn't help but just laugh every time, but he kept saying when they were talking about Avengers Infinity War, every time he said Infinity, he said Xfinity.
Was he doing it on purpose?
I don't think so.
Because at
but
first
it
I thought
cracked
he was
me
doing
up.
it on purpose.
It cracked me up, and
It started to bother me after a while.
it just cracked me up. But no, I've heard he was on Brews with Babes for Fool's Week.
Yep.
He was on an episode of Foodies Watching Movies, I believe. I don't know if he's been on any other episodes of other shows since then, or aside from what I just mentioned, but I really want to get him on our show.
That'd be cool.
He seems like a really cool dude, a really fun guy.
Really fun gay.
So I think he'd really fit in with us. So Keith, if you listen to this show, hit us up.
We should take the initiative and hit him up.
Maybe we will. Maybe we
will.
can get you down here. Maybe we can go up to you.
Ooh, I've been meaning to make a trip to our northern branch of Journey into Comics Network for a while anyway.
It's been talked about that we could go. We're going to be going up there in August for a good old hangout and powwow at a certain lake house.
Touching dicks.
We're going to be touching
Dicks. But back on track here. Don't believe the lack of hype. Watch Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
Form your own opinion. Watch Justice League, because Justice League is not any worse than the original Avengers film, and people herald that movie, but people talk shit about Justice League. So, do your due diligence. Be a fucking normal person and form your own opinions.
Yeah,
Watch
honestly.
this shit. Even if you don't like it, now you don't have to spend $100 at the movies. Fucking go to fucking Redbox and rent the shit for $1.
Yeah. Also, the Pirate Bay's back up if you do that sort of thing.
I don't advocate that.
I don't entirely advocate. It's whatever.
I want these movies to continue.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, like the way I've always done it, I feel like you've torrented shit in your past, haven't you?
Yeah, and I don't anymore because I felt bad.
So the way I have always done it is, not that it makes it any better, but if I was on the fence about something, I would download it, and if I liked it enough, I would actually go out and buy it. Whether that be a
That's
CD,
fair.
whether it be a CD or a movie.
That's a good justification.
And that's my, now I have Spotify, so thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Thanks to you, and thanks
Are
to
you
my.
are you finally enjoying it now?
I barely use it. I honestly just use it to check out a new CD, and if I like it, go out and buy it.
I use Spotify literally every day.
But since I haven't been able to load new music via iTunes to my iPhone, because every time I plug my phone into my computer, iTunes crashes, or it doesn't even crash; it just freezes. I can't do anything. So
Your phone freezes or iTunes freezes?
iTunes itself freezes, so I cannot move. I can't do anything with it while the phone's plugged into it. I'll unplug the phone, and after a few minutes, it'll unfreeze. It's the weirdest thing.
Have you contacted Apple?
My guess is I'm either gonna have to factory reset my phone,
Have you contacted Apple?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I have Googled some.
Contact Apple.
I have Googled some possible troubleshooting shit, and nothing has helped.
Contact Apple. I'm gonna keep saying this until you agree
Maybe
to
I will.
contact Apple.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. So
Apple.
either I factory reset my phone, or I uninstall and reinstall iTunes, which will fuck me in terms of my music library on my phone, because it won't recognize my iTunes library on the computer, so then it'll erase, and I'll have to restart all over on that bullshit.
You know one thing that I don't have to worry about?
That
iTunes. Because I don't fucking buy Apple garbage fucking shit.
I used to be an Android guy,
Apple
and
is garbage.
and
it is
I'm not-
garbage fucking electronics.
I'm not advocating for Android. I'm not advocating for Apple. I'm just saying I moved from Android to Apple because at the time, and this has been a couple years now, at the time, my phones would maybe last me 8 months, and then they would deteriorate in terms of like RAM and all that, because that naturally happens.
Now you're with Apple, and they legitimately, and they've been caught doing this. They fuck you out of a phone, so you go buy a new one.
And that has since been rectified because they got caught.
How do you know?
I don't know, but
you don't.
Either way, my phone stays good the entire year, as opposed to 6 months in going to complete shit, and I have to restart it every day or clear out my cache and shit.
I had a Galaxy S4 that lasted me almost 5.5 years.
Mm-hmm. I stuck with HTC products.
I moved on from them pretty quick.
From my HTC Inspire, I went all the way until the One. So I went HTC Inspire, HTC One X, HTC One M7, and then HTC One M8. And from there, I had that almost a full year, and it was starting to get bad because it was slowing down. The thing about Android operating system is it's much like Windows.
It's a computer.
It's a computer. Apple products, they just run really smooth, and they stay really smooth all year round.
I've never had an issue with my Samsung products.
And I'm not a person.
5 years with an S4, 3 years with a S6.
And I'm gonna straight up call some people out, not by name because I don't have anybody by name, but like the general user of a phone is a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Nearly all the people I know that have Android phones or that have problems with their Android phones, it's because they download a fuck ton of stupid ass bullshit apps. Yep. They get viruses out the ass. They just download like the dumbest fucking games, and it's like, why? And so that being said, my phones didn't deteriorate because I was downloading a bunch of stupid shit. Here's what I did on my phone: Facebook, Snapchat, listen to music, text. That's all I did. So just from those 4 things, 2 of which are native to the actual phone,
right,
it would deteriorate within 6 to 8 months in terms of like performance.
That speaks on HTC products though, and
That is
not
true.
the operating system.
But I would hear the same shit from other people, and that might not be the same now. It's like I said, it's been a few years. I remember iPhone was never the best. Apple phones were never the best until like a couple years ago.
The only thing that Apple has is their camera,
which HTC put in the fucking ground with their low lighting cameras. But yeah, and that was actually another thing that made me switch to Apple was despite the low lighting awesomeness of the HTC One, the focus was so slow that I couldn't do anything. So I moved over to Apple, and because one of the thing everybody always says about Android phones is like, oh, you can customize them. Cool, I don't need to do that. Like I moved over to Android, or I moved over to Apple because I just wanted the simplicity of this phone, and I haven't had any issues with my Apple products since.
How long does your battery last, Blaine?
Long enough. Seriously, it lasts me all day. Which is all I need it to. I need it to last me until I go to bed. That's all I need it.
I'm not going to challenge you on this because we'll get into an argument. But
I go to bed, I plug my phone in,
my
I wake
S8
up.
Plus is almost 2 years old, and my battery still lasts multiple days, and I'm on that motherfucker all day long when I'm not at work.
Your S8 Plus is almost 2 years old. Are they on the 9 right now, or what?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I thought the S8 came out last year.
Mm-mm. That's why I said almost 2 years old.
Okay. Jennifer comments, I'm happy with my change. She was a huge Samsung user as long as I've known her. I think when I first met her, she was Apple, and then she moved to Samsung, which about 6 years ago, so around the S4, S5 era. She says, I'm happy with my change. The battery is way better on the iPhone.
I don't think so.
I think it just depends on how much you use it. The biggest factor of battery life is how much you use it.
Well, not necessarily. It's how you take care of it.
The biggest drainer of your battery is your screen.
And also how you take care of that lithium-ion battery. Because
In terms of longevity, yeah.
Well, not even that. Because you're not supposed to charge it every night. You're not supposed to plug it in and let it sit all night long while you sleep, and then drain it all day, and then plug it in, and then, oh shit, my battery's going to die. Plug it in and use it while it's charging.
I read an article a couple years ago on how to best take care of your lithium-ion iPhone battery. And it said a lot of myths such as, oh, you need to drain it all the way down to zero.
That's not true.
No, yeah, it's a myth. It's a myth. You need to drain it as far down as you can and then charge it all the way up. That way it gets a full healthy charge or whatever. No, it said you want to keep it between 100 and 80%.
Part of the biggest problem with lithium-ion batteries is getting them hot.
Mm-hmm.
Which plugging your phone in and using it while it's charging gets it hot.
It depends on the charger. There are certain chargers out there that will take care of your battery a lot better.
It's just the amperage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using a fast charger, which pretty much all the chargers are now, you're going to cook that fucking battery.
I don't use a fast charger. Because I don't need a fast charger. I mean, I have them, I guess, but the charger I use, it's a nightstand basically that I can plug my watch into as well, and it's also got like 3 or 4 USB ports for charging. I just plug it into that. I use a company called Anchor, which I'm a pretty big fan of their products, their cables. Jennifer says, "True, Tyler. My Galaxy would die by 2 hours into the shift. I'm sure I didn't take good care of my phone."
Yeah, mine. Like I said, mine's
didn't.
2 years old pretty much, and it still lasts. I can go multiple days.
She'd be playing Candy Crush. And
Fucking games, man.
and
Games
ruining-
drain so much of your battery. We need to stop talking about cell phones.
I like talking about cell phones. I'm really into technology and shit. Am I super intelligent about it?
Part
not.
of why I have such a hard on about certain things in my life is I'm very brand specific on pretty much every aspect of my life.
Same.
I only buy personally. I only buy certain phones and I only buy certain TVs and audio equipment. I only buy certain shit. I'm very particular, and that's my OCD. I'm very particular about everything.
What TVs do you buy?
I'm a Vizio guy myself.
Walmart.
What?
It's a Walmart brand.
Now. Yeah. But it's
It-
also some of the best.
Oh
It's
yeah,
top
it's
three TVs
excellent.
that are
It's pretty
manufactured.
good. You got Insignia, which is Best Buy's brand. They market it as when they tried to sell my friend their Insignia TV, they're like, oh yeah, you could get this, but and then buy a sound bar, because they put a lot of companies in order to maximize screen size, they put the speakers behind the TV. So
That's pretty much industry standard.
it is, yeah. So Insignia combated that by
Putting them on the bottom.
putting them on the bottom or on the side. That way then you don't have to buy a sound bar.
Still need to buy a sound bar.
Yeah.
I went with Vizio when it was time for me to buy a 4K TV. I went with the refresh rate, the number of HDMI ports that I wanted with a 4K screen, and the size that I wanted. And Vizio was about the only one that made a TV in the price range that I wanted to spend, so I went with them, and I've had nothing but flawless fucking performance from my Vizio TV.
Yeah.
I bought a 1080p Philips TV for my wife about 6 years ago, and that fucking TV is a piece of shit. It still works, so I can't fault it for its longevity, and it's surviving a toddler right now, which, speaks fucking volumes for what kind of quality TV they put out. But I like Vizio. The top three in TV manufacturers right now is LG, Samsung, Vizio. They are making the best TVs on the market. 10 years ago, it was Panasonic. Panasonic was the fucking crown jewel of TVs.
My first I'm on my own TV, my mom got me a 37-inch Panasonic. It was like 720p.
I have a 32 Panasonic that's 720,
TV
and it's a
was
really good.
awesome.
It still fucking works. It's upstairs in my bedroom. It's a great fucking TV.
Yeah. I ended up selling it to Joanna, formerly of Butt Stuff, and now does literature on her own feed. So that was a great TV. I upgraded from that to a Samsung Plasma 51-inch.
I personally like the odd-sized
Yeah.
TVs. The 43-inch, the 59 fucking... I saw like a 63-inch TV not long ago, and I think they already stopped making it. But I like the odd-sized TVs, especially if you have an odd-sized entertainment center and you don't want to mount it on the wall. Like in my throne room, I don't want to mount a TV on the wall. That's why I bought that expensive-ass entertainment center. In my wife's living room, when I upgrade her TV let me rephrase that. When I upgrade my TV this holiday season to then hand me down my TV to her, I think I'm going to go with like a 70-inch.
Okay.
I think that's what I'll end up putting in my throne room, and then I'll give her the 55, and I'll move she's got a 43-inch Philips. I'll move that one upstairs, and then move my Panasonic into my daughter's bedroom. But
when it comes to TVs, I almost exclusively buy Samsung. I like them.
they're good TVs. They're top 3 in the market right now.
And one thing that sold me on this TV was the remote. It's silly little things like sell me on things, but the remote is universal with all their products. So if I
like Vizio because I don't need a remote. I can do it all from my phone.
Yeah, and I could do the same with my Samsung,
Right?
But I just choose not to.
See, part of the reason that LG is top in the market right now is, number one, LG is a fucking fantastic electronics company. Number two, when Samsung came out with the curved 4K TVs, LG looked at that and said, well, we can make it better. And they did.
Did they do curve?
Yes. LG makes the best TV on the market right now.
OLED. That OLED technology is insane, but it's insanely priced too.
It's not that much higher than Samsung prices right now.
I saw a 55-inch TV for $2,400 at Best Buy the other day.
Yeah, you're at Best Buy, though. You don't buy TVs from Best Buy. You don't buy shit from Best Buy.
I like Best Buy.
Yeah, well, that's why you're in debt, because Best Buy marks shit up. You don't buy shit from Best Buy. LG saw that Samsung made the curved TV, and they said, we can do it better. They had the OLED technology.
Yeah, which OLED is awesome.
Yeah. When you're dicking around on your computer, which you do all the time, look up LG's curved TVs. They don't make that many sizes. They're only the higher sizes.
See, the curved TV to me is just a gimmick. I can see it's.
Have you ever watched one?
Yeah.
And what was your thoughts when you were watching it? Were you sitting right in the middle of watching it?
No, I was off to the side. Which I see the purpose of it. I see the functionality.
So if you entertain a lot, like I do, the functionality, especially if you watch sports, which I'm into and you're not, it's fucking why would I not have this? You know? But for the average user, it's a waste. You don't need to buy a curved TV. Now, if you're one thing that I give to Samsung that I don't give to LG is Samsung make curved computer monitors. Yes, which are fantastic. Is that a curved one?
I thought it was.
I don't think it is.
I thought it was,
but they're if I was going to put a monitor in like a gaming setup or a studio setup, I would have one of Samsung's curved monitors because they're fantastic. So it's Samsung and LG are neck and neck. LG is voted number one right now. Vizio's taking the third spot.
Just from looking at them, the OLED beats the hell out of the QLED, which QLED is Samsung's.
Right. We're in a weird time because if you buy a 4K TV, and people don't understand this, if you buy a 4K TV, the only time you're getting 4K is if you're doing something through a 4K gaming console.
Yes.
A 4K Blu-ray, and that's it.
Netflix is streaming 4K now.
Okay, Netflix is streaming 4K.
The Apple TV 4K, it streams 4K movies.
But nobody films in 4K.
No,
as far as broadcasting services.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Because it's too expensive. So Comcast, Time Warner, DirecTV, Dish Network, you're not getting shit in 4K, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
with my 4K TV through Comcast, with all the money that I fucking give them every month, I can get no higher than 1080p watching TV. So,
yeah, you'll have to go to the 4K channels for movies.
Yes,
that's it.
That's it. Because it's too damn expensive.
But if you go Netflix has a 4K package. It's only like $13 a month.
But if you're somebody like me that watches sports, watching sports in 4K is impossible because it's
nobody broadcasts it.
Nobody broadcasts in 4K,
and it's hilarious because we're watching shit in 4K, movies in 4K, and they're already shooting movies in 8K.
Yes, by the time we get 4K broadcast, we will be 8 or 10K or whatever we will be down the line.
But that's how they sell shit,
right?
Because they
well, think about it. Think about how expensive 1080p TVs were when they came on the fucking market. They were outrageous. Just like 4K TVs. You can buy a 4K TV right now for pretty affordable.
We had 4K 10 years ago.
Right.
And it's just now become the standard.
Yes.
But even now, being the standard, we're not watching it.
Nope. Because it's too damn expensive to broadcast.
Mm-hmm. It takes too much bandwidth. It's just too much. I mean, the first time I ever heard about 4K, like I didn't know much about resolutions and shit at the time. But Rooster Teeth got a 4K RED camera. Mm-hmm. They started shooting shit in it. Gavin Free of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter and the slow-mo guys. He started the slow-mo guys, and he had a red camera that he would shoot slow motion in. And, it was cool.
I'm sorry you had no identity today, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I was going to name you Jolene today, but I was not there. I had I had prior commitments I had to take care of.
Every day, Tyler gives Jennifer a new name.
But it always has to start with a J.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what you did today? Or shall we save that for another day?
We'll save that for another day.
All right.
We'll save that for next week.
All right. Was it a good day, though?
I think it was a good day. I think everything went well.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear.
My thing that I'm not going to speak about right now was very short, but I think it went well. So we'll talk about it next week on what it actually was.
Awesome. Look forward to that and tune in next week. That being said, the show is also still not over. So
yeah, we're an hour in and we still have not got to any of our topics.
One of the topics was Deadpool. So
okay, yeah,
we can cross that off.
But that's rare for us. Normally, we're
yeah,
right into the topics out of the gate.
We winged it.
We've had some good discussion though.
We really have. So I want to move on to this topic.
Okay.
Mowing permits.
Oh God.
This is some stupid shit.
You came to me with this a couple days ago, and I looked at you, and at first I thought you were fucking with me, and I literally said, "What in the literal fuck?" And everyone that listens to this show and watches our live stream knows how, number one, I feel about the government, but number two, I feel about stupid shit in general, and this is stupid shit. So.
Yeah, I'm just going to straight up read this article.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to you for that.
All right, the live stream, you can see it. If you're listening, you get to hear my wonderful voice. Children now face fines and arrest if they don't get a permit to mow grass for money. In the land of... This is just the header. This is just the header. So brace yourself. This is going to get real stupid if you're a real person. In the land of the free, it is now illegal to mow grass from... Okay, first of all, I'm going to preface this with whoever wrote this does not know how to fucking form.
Or they don't have an editor.
They don't have an editor, and it's terrible, so bear with me. In the land of the free, it is now illegal to mow grass for extra money during the summertime unless you pay the right state official for the privilege of working. These permit requirements are ultimately enforced through the power of police and fines. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to read it as is, just to...
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, I find errors funny sometimes.
I mean, you do what you gotta do.
Gardendale, Alabama. A regular summer rite of passage for motivated teenagers across the United States in search of some extra spending money has always been cutting the neighbor's grass. That's pretty standard. Growing up, I mean, we learn to make money by doing things for people.
Well, and it goes back to all of the bullshit that I've ranted about for the last month. We have to teach our youth accountability.
Yeah.
If you say, here, and I'm dad or mom, here, take my lawnmower that I have taught you how to use so you don't cut your hands off or die or run over people's pets. Take this lawnmower, go around the neighborhood, and make some fucking money.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I might even reward you for going to make your own money. I might buy you something that you don't have to spend your own money on, so then you can buy something else with the money that you made.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking business model.
And, it's been something people have been doing as long as we've been able to cut grass with, whether it be, a manual fucking...
The real mower.
Real mower.
Yeah.
Or fucking actual gas-powered lawnmower.
Right.
Kids have been going around to neighbors' houses, people in the neighborhood in general, and just being like, "Hey, can I mow your lawn for $10?"
Right, give me $10, I'll cut your
give me
fucking grass.
$5, give me $20.
It might not be great. It might not be great, but I'm gonna cut your grass, and that's not something that you have to fuck with. And time is money.
Yeah, and
So if you're paying
nobody
little
wants
Jimmy-
to actually mow the fucking lawn.
Yeah, I mowed my grass today. I hate fucking mowing grass. That's an hour of my day that's fucking wasted.
Yeah. So
my grass does look like a golf course.
However, teens in Gardendale, Alabama, and many other cities across the United States are about to get a rude lesson in how government overregulation stifles personal and financial growth. Local officials and area law services have reportedly warned area teens that without a business license issued by the city, which costs $110, they are in violation of a city ordinance, thus violating the law if they attempt to cut grass without a license. It's patently absurd that local teenagers can't make a private agreement with a neighbor to mow a lawn without the government sanctioning the transaction by inserting themselves as the arbiter of who is allowed to legitimately cut grass. Mowing grass in the summer is often one of the first jobs a motivated teenager, I like that they put a motivated teenager, will engage in during their summer break from school. But with a business license costing $110 for a job, that will likely be ongoing for a few short months in the summer. The cost will likely drive many ambitious entrepreneurial teens away from what would likely be a rewarding experience. This is a quote from Elton Campbell, I have never heard of a child cutting grass having to have a business license. Elton Campbell, whose granddaughter, Elena Paris, mows a few lawns around the neighborhood, told ABC 3340. She charges one lady $20 and another lady $30, and another girl $40 besides what we pay her, said Campbell. The teen is disappointed as she felt like this was the perfect way for her to make some extra money during the summer. Just helping out and raising money for admissions and trips, said Elena Paris. According to Campbell, Paris is allegedly being targeted by someone upset by the competition from the teen. That person is using the power of the state to eliminate his competition. My guess is it's some guy who owns like a landscaping company, and it's fuck off, dude. One of the men that cut several yards made a remark to one of our neighbors that if he saw her cutting grass again, that he was going to call Gardendale because she didn't have a business license, said Campbell. Campbell called out the irony of trying to prevent a child from taking on a summer job when they show an internal drive and take the initiative, as so many teenagers are not engaging in enterprising behavior or taking additional responsibilities during their summer break. He's coming after a kid when a kid is at least trying to do work. There's kids at home on iPads and electronics and not wanting to go outside, said Paris. Mayor Stan Hoagland weighed in on the controversy, noting that when operating a business for pay within the city limits, you must have a business license. But he also said that sending law enforcement after a child trying to earn extra money in the summer is not a priority. Unfortunately, however, if children do resist this tax on the entrepreneurial spirit, police force will most assuredly come. These children would most assuredly face, at the very least, a fine and possibly even arrest. Hoagland stated he's committed to finding a way to resolve this issue, but of course the government still wants its cut. So he will explore the possibility of a temporary license. That means they got to get it again the next year. Fuck off. Explore the possibility of a temporary license for summer months that targets entrepreneurial youth. I would love to have something on our books that gave a more favorable response to that student out there cutting grass, and see if there's maybe a temporary license during the summer months that targets teenagers, said Mayor Hoagland. While it is heartening to hear Mayor Hogle recognize that it's unfortunate there are young people are complaining about the permits for cutting their neighbor's grass for a few bucks, and saying that he doesn't want this to discourage kids from trying to earn money, the fact that he still believes that these kids should be licensed speaks to the true insanity of government over-regulation. There is clear cognitive dissonance seen in Hogle's ability. Whoever wrote this, goddamn.
We're doing this for free, and some fucking idiot out there is typing up these articles and getting paid, and they don't know fucking what spell check is.
Not to mention, they've already this mayor has two names.
They changed his name.
They changed his name from Hoagland to Hogle. Anyway, there is clear cognitive dissonance seen in Hoagland's ability to recognize the foolish and petty nature of calling city authorities on these teenagers for trying to do something adults should be congratulating and supporting, while at the same time failing to acknowledge that there is no legitimate reason for these kids to be licensed. The formality of requiring teens to be licensed to cut grass is a simple revenue generation scheme. Plain and simple. This type of regulation does nothing to keep anyone safe and only serves to enrich the government coffers. Once again, the free market is being squeezed by unnecessary regulation for the sake of revenue generation, which only serves to stifle competition and keeps consumer prices higher. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a problem with this for a lot of reasons. Number one, I love the state of Alabama. I would love to relocate there. And the mayor of this town or city is, you can't put the fault on him because he is just doing
his job.
He's doing his job, so he has to say what people expect him to say to stay in office. Read Jennifer's comment. So the problem with this, like a lot of the problems with everything that our government does, and I'm gonna slightly change subject while still maintaining the same subject. We as people who are involved in social media and just media in general hear a lot about the gun show loophole. I'm sorry, folks, the gun show loophole is not something that exists. And I will tell you that I will explain that in a couple different ways. Number one, the government cannot regulate private sale on anything. I say again, the government cannot regulate private sale on anything. So the only exception to that is if I sell someone a vehicle or someone sells me a vehicle. To title and plate that vehicle, I have to pay taxes on said vehicle. If Blaine sells me a firearm or vice versa, the government cannot have any hand in that other than doing the background check that's necessary, that is always done at gun shows. If you go to a gun show and try and buy a firearm, unless it's from someone in the parking lot, I guarantee you a background check will be completed before. You will have to fill out a form. I don't remember the form's title. You will have to fill out a form to purchase said firearm. Now, if Blaine tries to sell me a firearm in the parking lot, the government cannot have a hand in that. It has no say. That is private sale. If I try and sell Blaine a pack of cigarettes, the government cannot have their sin tax, their sales tax. They cannot have any fucking fragment of that sale because it is private sale. So if I go to Blaine right now and I'm an adult and I say, hey, I'm going to mow your grass for $15 a week. And Blaine says, man, I like that price. I'm going to pay you $15 a week to mow my grass. The government cannot have any hand in that. What we have here with this article is the government and the bureaucracy getting their fucking weaselly little fingers in shit that they should not be allowed to have their hands in. If there is a child, a teenager, an adult for that matter, that has the I almost really fucked up the word entrepreneurial drive to get off their ass and go do something to make a few dollars, I'm sorry, the government should not have a fucking leg to stand on to step into that shit.
No.
And it's really sad, especially, Blaine and I are in our late 20s. We hear so much on a day, I mean, it is on the daily, how the millennials have fucked up the world when, I'm sorry, baby boomers out there. I wish I was in your generation, but you guys are the ones that fucked everything up. We're not the ones fucking things up here, and this is, this isn't even the writing on the wall. This is a fucking billboard on the interstate saying, this is why the United States government is fucked up. Kids are trying to do something to, number one, learn accountability, learn how to make money, learn how to be entrepreneurs, learn how to be good people, and make a couple dollars while they're doing it. That's the American fucking dream. And here you have the state of Alabama and the federal government, because eventually, if a large portion of teens go and buy this business license, then the federal government's going to step in and say, whoa, where's our income tax on this? We need fucking paychecks set up. You know, you need to write a paycheck, and then I'm going to tax the fuck out of you at the end of the year because you didn't pay income taxes on that $15 that Betty down the street fucking paid you. You know, that's bullshit. It's a problem, and it just compounds with the problem on why the United States is not where it should be. You know, for a long time, the United States was the pinnacle of society as far as industry and technology, and you know, not. Someone is going to get mad while I'm saying this because, well, there were social injustices, and women had to work in the kitchen, and black people got beat in the street. And I'm not. This has nothing to do with that. It's just about our nation, on what we contribute to the rest of the world. We were top tier, number one. Nobody fucking challenged us on everything. And then we figured out that, hey, we can make a lot more money. We can pay the people that are overseeing everybody else a lot more money if this labor becomes a lot cheaper. So then let's move all this shit to China. Let's move all this shit to Mexico. Let's move all this shit everywhere else where we don't have to fight with labor laws. We just fucking pay for shit, and then we get the shit that we want, and then we sell it for 10 times what it's worth. This is something that's innocent. It's kids trying to make a couple of extra dollars to do whatever they want with it. If they want to go fucking buy a dime bag of pot with it, I don't give a shit. They are doing something productive.
Yeah.
And if I had seriously, I have a lot of fucking money invested into my lawn care, keeping my house upkept. If a kid down the street came up to me and said, Mr. Tyler, I would like to mow your grass for $20. I would say, I will give you $25. Mow the shit.
Yeah.
And there's a caveat to that. If the kid mowed my grass and I didn't like the way that he cut it, I would say, here, little Billy, this is how I mow my grass. People would like it a lot better if you mow their grass this way. It looks a lot better. It's easier to clean up, so on and so forth. Maybe you should mow everybody else's grass like that, and then they'll pay you more money.
There you go.
This is why I paid you $25, because this is what I expect. And then little Billy says, thanks, Mr. Tyler, I'll do a better job next time. So then next week he comes and mows my grass, and he does a half-assed decent job, and I give him $25, and I say, you know what? You listen to me.
Good job.
Here's $5 extra.
Go
Get yourself a hamburger. Or whatever, you know.
This is like so like generic 50s, 60s.
Right, but
golly gee, mister.
But that's the fucking value
It
that
is.
we need to get back to.
It
because
is.
It teaches,
I agree.
It teaches shit.
It does.
Little Billy says, man, that fucking fat guy down the street paid me $5 extra, and I didn't do any extra work. I just went in a different pattern than I normally do. And it was actually easier. I listened to him, and my job was easier. And I made $30 instead of $25. Whoa! What else can I do this with? So then he goes to Grandma Jean down the street. Mow my grass for $15. Well, Mr. Tyler down the street pays me $25. I'll give you $20. Okay, deal. Bam.
Bargaining.
People have learned how to do business.
Yes.
And the federal government was never involved, and we've taught somebody values and lessons, and we've actually interacted with other people. Little Billy Billy walked up to my house and said, Mr. Tyler, I would like to mow your grass. And I didn't, number one, try and molest him. I didn't kidnap him. I live in a safe neighborhood, a safe environment where some kid can fucking mow my grass with something that's incredibly dangerous. A lawnmower is dangerous. People take away how dangerous a lawnmower is. People get their fucking arms and legs and fucking fingers and all kinds of shit fucking cut off every year because they're dumb.
There used to be a local band called the Lawnmower Incident, I think.
Right over the top.
Yeah, I could be I know the Lawnmower or something was it was called.
But the point is there is no need to legislate.
No. Not at all.
Anything
at that
and
level,
get the bureaucracy, especially that level. Thank you. You know, this town or this city might be financially struggling. You know, they might be trying to look at some easy ways to get revenue. Well, let's prey on the teenage youth. I'm sorry, there's not that many fucking kids mowing grass.
Yeah, you're going to be making like maybe at $110 per license, maybe 770.
Maybe
There's 7 kids out there.
I think that's a reasonable expectation.
What the fuck is $770 going to do for your goddamn local government?
Yep.
Not fucking shit.
Well, and then but okay,
$5,000 isn't going to do shit for your government.
So let's say that 500 kids buy this license. That's how much money is that, Blaine? 500 kids buy $100.
$5,500, sir.
Okay, that's $5,500. Okay, so we have $5,500 a year of revenue that's generated by selling this permit, this business license. Well, not only are we paying the people that are, what word am I looking for? The administrative staff to sell these business licenses to this youth, because we're not doing it all online. Somebody's going to come down to the courthouse and buy a business license, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, we're paying police officers their daily wage and so on and so forth to enforce this law. So if little Billy down the street that asked Mr. Tyler to mow his grass doesn't have a business license, not only does that police officer have to fine and or arrest little Billy, but he also has to go to Mr. Tyler and say, well, little Billy he did not have a business license, so we're also going to have to fine you $75 for having someone do something without a business license. That's not in that article, but that's how that is
definitely how that would work.
That's how that compounds. We also have to write you a ticket and fine you. And Mr. Tyler says, well, that's fucking bullshit. I didn't have to do anything. Well, then Mr. Tyler gets arrested for arguing with a police officer. So the revenue is not generated by the business licenses themselves. The revenue is generated by the controversy that's created from the business licenses. The problem is we're still paying the police officers our lowest minimum wage that we can pay police officers to get shot at, and enough money to fund their pension. And then we're still negative money because we have to pay someone time, and then maintenance on the police cars and everything else. There's a lot of money wrapped up in police forces. We have to pay all that shit to enforce something that was bullshit and wasn't making money to begin with. That's the cycle.
Yeah.
Little Billy doesn't get a business license. Little Billy gets arrested and fined. Mr. Tyler gets fined, maybe arrested too. Police officer gets paid $18 an hour. Maybe. That's a pretty high number nationwide for what police officers get paid. They get paid more in benefits than they do hourly wage. So let's say $18 an hour. So we pay 15 police officers $18 an hour to enforce this bullshit legislation, and then the maintenance on all their vehicles and everything else, and the fuel and everything else, and then that comes back around, and it's like, shit, we're negative money. We need to enforce this more. And then it goes back around, and then more Billies get arrested, and then more Mr. Tylers get arrested, and then it goes back around. More police officers get paid, and then we're still negative money.
Could you imagine the police officer that just patrolling the neighborhood, strolling through the neighborhood, sees a kid mowing the yard and stops, says, "Hey, I need
to see your business license."
No, I need your papers.
Oh fuck. See, and this goes back to the conversation that we had last week about police officers. The problem here is you will have some police officers that drive through a neighborhood and say, "Hey, little Billy, I need to see your business license." "Well, I don't have one, mister."
"Well, you're fucked, sir."
Okay, you have that.
Yeah, I know.
But then you also have the good person that says, "Okay, look, you're really supposed to have a business license. I know it's $110. Try and get one." And then drives away.
Yeah.
And then next week drives through the neighborhood and stops little Billy again. And little Billy says, "No, I still haven't got it. I haven't had enough money." And the police officer says, "All right, I really need you to try to get this business license." And he does that as a good person.
Yeah.
Every week, all summer long. He knows he's going to see Billy out there mowing fucking grass. But he leaves Billy alone because Billy is contributing to society.
Technically, he's still kind of doing his job. He's giving him a warning, essentially.
Yes,
he's just
thank you.
extending that warning a little too much.
Well,
I mean,
it's a child.
it is a child.
It's not a meth lab. He's not robbing people. He's not killing people.
No.
He's mowing fucking grass.
But then you know there's going to be those jackass fucking try-hard cops.
Yep.
They're like, I need to see a license right now. And then he puts him on the fucking ground for not having a license.
Or fucking picks him up and slams him on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
Turns his body cam off. Fucking rapes the kid.
I'm glad. One thing I like about you, Tyler, is that no matter how pro-cop you are, you still recognize that shit happens.
But that's the problem. People, right now, we are in a society where we cannot be, we are either pro-police officer or we are anti-police officer. There's no in between.
Yeah.
I try and habitate that in-between space.
Yes, same.
There are really good police officers, and I personally have had really good interactions with police officers. I actually know police officers personally. And those situations that I know these people personally from actually started really shitty.
Yeah.
And I know these people now. It's like, you know what? That guy's not getting paid enough, or that woman is not getting paid enough to do their job. But they do it. They do it every day.
Yeah.
And then you have the other side of the coin where it's like, man, that guy's getting paid too much fucking money to do his job because he's having fun beating the fuck out of people.
Yeah. I've had 2 bad cop experiences, both with the same exact officer. Mm-hmm. 2 out of my 3 accidents.
Okay.
And he immediately struck an attitude with me, which, I mean, I guess he has the right to do because he's a person of power.
I see. That's what I disagree with. He's not a person of power.
But he
state
has power because
the state has the power. He's just the arm.
Yeah, but
So
because you have to comply with what he says.
if you comply what he says without him making you comply, he has no power. You're just doing this as people.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's why I look at it that way.
Either way, the guy immediately pegged me as some idiot kid and struck attitude with me because I was some idiot kid. And the first time, I hit a parked car. I was trying to park. I misjudged my trajectory. Okay, this is where it gets really dumb. I stopped before I hit the car. Put it in reverse. I had this car for 3 days.
Okay.
I didn't have new license plates on it. I didn't even have the insurance cards for it yet. It was insured, but I didn't have the insurance cards for it. That plays into later. So I hit the brakes before I hit this truck. A Nissan Titan.
Okay.
I remember. We are in front of Hunter's South. What was originally Hunter's South is now Legacy Pub over here on 350 in Concord.
Call it Hunter's Pub.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I like Hunter's Pub.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I ate in there. But anyway.
Good food.
So I'm parking. I misjudge my trajectory. I stop. And as I'm like, all right, I'm not going to make it. I stop. I pop it into reverse. My car decides to lurch forward while going into reverse. I'm like, and as it lurches forward, I hit the truck. Put a big old dent in the fucking rear wheel well.
Okay.
Of course, this is in front of Hunter's Pub with the windows all wide open. Everybody sees me.
Being a dumbass.
Yes. There's no running away from this. Not that I would. So I reverse a little bit, and I get out of my car, and I look at the thing. Next thing I know, guy's coming out, family's coming out with him. The guy's cool. The guy is totally cool.
But the family's making a scene.
Oh, yeah, they're making a scene. Like, you need to call the cops, and the guy's like, the guy's pissed, but he's being cool with me. Like, he's like, man, I just got this truck 3 days ago. I'm like,
so you both had a vehicle 6 days combined.
we got our vehicles on the same exact day, essentially. And I of course made light of the situation. I'm like, hey, I got my Alero 3 days ago.
Wait.
It was a 2000 Alero.
Wait. You had an Alero?
It was a piece of shit.
I had an Intrigue, which is the 4-door version of the Alero.
It was a piece of fucking shit.
I actually started a club in high school called the Oldsmobile Club.
Nice.
Because there was a bunch of us that had that had Aleros and Intrigues. Anyway, I totaled my Intrigue.
I'll get to that. Oh, so he's like, all right, I gotta call the cops. I'm like, all right, well, and I was a dumb kid. I think I just turned 21, or I was about to turn 21.
So you were an adult, not a kid.
Yeah, but I was a kid. I'm an idiot kid. So
all right.
I'm an adult that's still a kid, you know. And I
are a man child.
I was I was far from a man at that point. And so I'm like, dude, I just got this car. Like, it still has the original license plates on it. Like, I haven't gotten the new plates for it yet. My dad took care of all that shit at the time.
Okay.
So he's like, oh yeah, we need to get those plates off. So I just took the plates off and put them in the back seat. Cop comes and he's like, why don't you have plates? I'm like, because I just got the car. Well, you don't have like temporary license plates? I didn't know anything about that shit. Like I said, my dad took care of everything for me. My dad, I guess, catered to me quite a bit back then.
I've gathered that.
And yeah, thanks. So like I didn't know any of these things. He just took care of it for me. And so he's like, okay, well, you're definitely gonna get a ticket for that. So I had to pay a ticket for that.
You should have left the license plates on there.
I realized that later because you have like 30 days to get it changed. So
yes.
I was like, I do have the plates, but they're off. So
it
means nothing.
If your plates are in the back seat, you don't have license plates. They have to be on the car.
Yes, exactly.
So he's doing his job the right way.
Yes.
Proceed.
And then he tells me, he's like, all right, do you have insurance? I was like, it is insured. I just like I said, I got the car 3 days ago, so I don't have the proof of insurance. He's like, well, you need to provide proof within the next 15 minutes or else we are going to impound this car. So I am calling my dad. It is that time of day where he is heading to work, and he may or may not answer his cell phone on his drive from Delphi to Frankfurt. So luckily I get him on the phone, and I told him everything, and I was like, I need proof of insurance, and all he needed was some number.
Probably the policy number.
Policy number, yeah. And so he gives me he has to call me back, and like it's getting down to the wire of
right.
Time wise. And he finally gets me the number, calls me back, gets me the number. I give it to the police officer, and it's done. She's like, all right, well, and if in my personal opinion, you should not have called me. You guys should have handled this between yourselves. Which I agree, but fuck you, dude.
Well, think about it, though. This is part of the problem. Anytime there's an accident, the insurance companies have it so ingrained with liability that if you don't call... If there is a one-vehicle accident, if you hit ice and spiral into a barrier, like I did a couple years ago in my pickup, if you don't call the police officers, the insurance company is like, are you trying to steal money from us? What the fuck's going on here? The police never need to be involved unless there is something, a death, an injury, so have you. Or, I mean, what have you. You bumped into a guy's truck, did a small amount of damage.
To the plastic, it bumped out.
Right.
It pushed out. Okay.
That's, we'll say at the most, $1,000 worth of damages. Material-wise, maybe $300 worth of labor, and that's being excessive. The police officers didn't need to be involved.
Probably not, but I was a kid, and his family was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, you need to nail this kid. Like, I'm like, wow. But so the police officer, he was just, but it was his tone and the way he was talking to us. He was a dickhead to me. I did not like it.
Was it to you or to both of you?
To me. Specifically.
Did you call him or did the family call him?
The family called him.
You didn't say, in my personal experience, I would have been, well, they called you, not me.
Anyway,
I would have been an ass.
fast
I would
forward.
have got tased.
Fast forward 2 years. I had a Lincoln LS, 2000 Lincoln LS. I loved that car. It reminded me of my 95 Grand Prix V8. There was only the moving from a V8 to like a 4-cylinder sucked. Hated that. But so I had a Lincoln LS. I get T-boned, not far from there, the intersection of Brady and Concord. I was heading to work, and I get T-boned by a Schomer's plumbing van because I was in the middle of the intersection waiting to go, and the light turned red, so I had to clear the intersection. Schomer's plumbing van blows the light and hits me. Yeah, I shouldn't have been in the intersection. I should have been behind the line and waited to go for that. But nobody fucking does that. You do that because you're smart. I get it.
I do that.
I get T-boned. 1 second I'm facing Brady Lane. The next second I'm facing back towards Pheasant Run. Completely turned around. Pepsi is everywhere because I had just opened a can of Pepsi. Can?
Nice. At least it's not tobacco spit like I have had in the past.
I was 6 days away from moving into a new apartment.
That's shitty.
Yeah. And so cops get called. I didn't even have to call the cops. Like, the cops were just there already.
Yeah.
Luckily.
A good Samaritan called them.
Yeah, so same cop. I recognized him instantly. Of course, me being...
Does he recognize you?
I don't know if he recognized me. It had been 2 years. Of course, me being me, I'm wearing a white T-shirt with a puppy on it that says "Stay Metal." I cannot be taken seriously.
I like how you're painting this picture.
Yeah, so I tell him my side of the story. Schomer's plumbing guy tells him his side of the story.
Which is?
The light was still green, and I gunned it in front of him. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. If the light was still green, I would have been waiting there. The light was red. I only went because it was red, and I had to get out of the middle of the intersection.
Right.
So, some time goes by. Cop talks to both of us. He ends up telling me, like, look, I'm ruling this that it was both of you guys' fault. Both of you failed to heed traffic laws and traffic conditions, or
That's fair.
traffic signaling. I don't know.
That's about as fair as
a
ruling that you can make.
Totally. I agree. He's like, so what's going to happen is your insurance companies are just going to take care of their own, and that's going to be it. Then he's like, but if it were my opinion, this is your fault. That to me was very unprofessional.
Yes.
And it's like, you're a fucking dickhead.
Well, think back to what my dad said last week in the chat when we were talking about police officers. It is the officer's responsibility to bring people to the court for the court to lay justice upon, not the police officer. So his opinion, however shitty it may be, it doesn't hold any weight other than the insurance company, and that's something else that I can bitch about.
Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't on the report, obviously, but just the fact that he had to fucking tell me, like, go out of his way and be like, in my opinion, it's your fault. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're a fucking dickhead.
I would have told him that. Well, in my opinion, you're a fucking dick face. That's what I would have said. I probably would have got tased.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had to get to work still.
Right.
I was late to work. I couldn't miss. I had already missed a year before, and I was at 92%. But luckily, since I got sick at work, they weren't going to hold that against me. For those who don't know, if we fall below 90% attendance at work, we are, based on the group leader's discretion, we are put into a correctional program called STEPS, in which it takes a full year to get out of.
Calendar year.
A full calendar year to get out of. Saying that being said, if you
If you miss a day on April 1st, you have to follow that year on April 1st for that day to fall off.
Yes. So, luckily, my group leader on my first miss day, which was in my first month of working at Subaru, he did not put me into steps based off of my attendance. He's like, dude, you got sick. You threw up into a rag bin, like, online. We know. Like, we're not going to hold that against you. Anyway, so, yeah, dickhead cop. That's all I got to say about that. Like, there was absolutely no need for him to voice his opinion. I mean, I guess it's his right. I can't argue that. It was unnecessary, and, it just makes him look like a dickhead. And I hate that there are people out there like that working.
But everybody's like that.
I guess.
Think about how many times a day I'm a dick. Sometimes I'm a dick directly to you.
You are.
You don't get mad at me.
No, I don't. But it's the fact that...
Right. It's the badge.
It's the badge.
You should hold the people with the badge to a higher standard.
Yeah.
They're not regular people.
He is an arbiter.
Yep.
He is an arbiter and should be, therefore, neutral.
Yes.
And unbiased.
I don't disagree with you a bit.
But to me, like, he looked at me, saw some idiot kid wearing some puppy T-shirt that says "Stay Metal," and it's his fault.
Yep.
This guy was working for a business. My guess was he had to be back at home base, Schomer's Plumbing, by a certain time. He was running late, so he decided to blow a fucking light.
Right. Or he wasn't paying attention.
I think he was paying attention. He was like, the guy was cool with me, but what he told me and what he told the police officer were two different things. He told me, he's like, "Oh, I'm just glad you're okay," which was cool. He's like, I didn't see you coming and I tried to hit the brakes and I tried to hit the brakes and I had my brakes up against the floor and like I didn't stop in time.
Did you tell the police officer that?
This was after I had already talked to the police officer. This is after he had already talked to the police officer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucked up situation.
It was, and like that's just part of my life. I ended up having to pay $1,600. Well, I mean, eventually I paid that, but
your dad paid it.
No, somebody else paid it, who I will not name. Someone who I was dating at the time.
I know that story.
Yeah, and she paid it. She drained her savings account from art that she had sold, money that she had saved up, work that she had done, and she helped my car not be fixed, but drivable, which is all I really wanted. I don't care about the aesthetics, really, but it was drivable. And she paid almost $1,600, and the deal was, like, I would pay, because she was about to move in with me as well. That was decided then. Hey, you should move in with me, so one, rent will be cheaper. Two, I can help pay you back. If rent's cheaper, I can just pay your part of rent. Yeah. So my payment plan was just paying her rent. And eventually it was, I'm selling you my TV for the rest of what I owe you. Cough, cough. I already said who I sold the TV to. But yeah, so that was a fun time.
What we got left on the topic list?
We got a few things. We're gonna kind of run a little shorter than we normally do because apparently we have a curfew and somebody's gonna be raiding on whatever the fuck.
Well, I'm in his chair, so he can fuck off.
Yeah.
He can't,
hi. Speaking of one of the people that's probably gonna be playing the game, Ethan Henderson joins the live feed. Welcome, Ethan. Thank you for joining us and watching. Andy's a fucking dickhead. So we have a couple things. We already talked about mowing permits. Talked about Deadpool 2. Real quick, let's touch on the new Death Punch album. Five Finger Death Punch.
I won't go super into it. Definitely a return to form. Definitely one of the best albums they've done, I'll say, in the last 3 years.
Yes.
Not my favorite.
No.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm glad that you brought that up because today on my way, or up until I left to come here, and on the way here, I was listening to the new 3 Days Grace album.
How is that?
Bad. It is not good. There's about 4 songs on the album that I enjoy, and that's me stretching it. There's about 2 songs I really enjoy, 4 songs I really kind of got to work for. I'm not sold on this new frontman.
Yeah.
It changes the tone of what 3 Days Grace was.
Despite sounding similar to Adam, he's different. It's not the same.
It's too different.
It's not the same. Yeah.
The tone isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you listen to Home,
which is their first CD, so
right.
it's like that's kind of a stretch there. Stretching
that's 3 Days Grace for me.
Stretching 4 different CDs with the same singer.
Yeah,
that's a stretch going all the way back to their first CD.
It's not 3 Days Grace for me.
Yeah.
So I haven't enjoyed it. I also listened to Nothing More's new album in its entirety. All of their album titles are in Japanese, so you don't know what the songs are called.
Fun.
I'm a big fan of that band, and I'm not a big fan of their new album as a whole.
Okay.
I really love their 2014 album. Really don't love the album that's right now.
Okay.
So,
real quick, we got Matt Walker joining us in the live feed. He is in All Around Music Podcast. Big shout out to him.
hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Get us on your show.
Yeah, get us on your show. Also,
Get on our show.
get on our show, and also, before you leave this feed, if you're still here, please hit up my friend Alan Ashcraft. He used to drum for my favorite band, Across the Sun. He's over in like the Portland, Oregon area, so you'll have to Skype him in. But he does graphics design work, and he recently did Seven Dust's new album.
Oh, cool.
Which is awesome. I just discovered that. He's done several
I
other...
like Seven Dust.
Memphis May Fire, a couple other bands. He's done artwork for them. He's done artwork for All That Remains and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
He's done all kinds of artwork for my Ultimate Warrior t-shirt. He did that.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, hit him up, Alan Ashcraft. This is a live suggestion right now. I'll talk to you about it more if you want. Message me. But yeah, hit him up and keep doing what you do, Matt. Your show's fucking awesome. Checked it out a couple weeks ago. Again,
get us on there. We'll get you on here. We'll touch.
They're
dicks.
really good about Matt's really good about like responding to the live feed because he was reading my comments as they were coming up and responding to them. So
We'll touch dicks.
dicks will be touched.
So, what's your thoughts on the new DP album?
As you said, it's not okay. So it's not entirely a return to form, but it's better. Than
It's the closest we're gonna get where we're at right now.
Yeah. They left with Got Your Six, and Got Your Six was just a terrible album.
Yep, not good at all.
Before that, they had Wrong Side of Heaven,
Which was
Part 2,
not good.
it was okay. They had like 3 good songs.
It was not good.
Part 1, however, was
Was
excellent. Then before that, you had American Capitalist, whatever.
Which was okay.
Yeah, I described it pretty perfectly on my post where I was talking about it.
Right.
With my friend Scott. However, War is the answer.
Is their best album, without a doubt.
The pinnacle of Five Finger Death Punch, right there. If there is one, they're kind of a taboo name in the metal world. You either get, but it's much like Disturbed or fucking.
It goes along with everything else that I say about everything. I'm a very opinionated person, but like what music you like.
Yes, exactly.
There's music that you like, and there's music that I don't like. You don't like Nothing More as much as I do. The only thing I can say is, hey, listen to him more. You might like him.
Yeah, which I haven't. I need to.
Right.
And I plan on it.
There's with you doing that to me with Parkway Drive. Parkway Drive's all right. I don't like them as much as you do, but I listen to them, and I don't say that they're shit just because they're not my favorite band. And it goes hand in hand with all the shit that I was saying earlier, and I've said in the past with movies. Don't fucking shit on something just because you don't like it. Mm-hmm. Other people like it.
While we're on the subject of suggesting music, the band I just brought up, Across the Sun, check them out. They're not a band anymore, but definitely check them out.
Well, you gave me a really good suggestion with Recode the Subliminal.
Yeah,
I really enjoy their shit. So
I met Ryan because he covered an Across the Sun song.
All right.
So Across the Sun, they're very soil work, very kill switch engage.
Cool.
Just kill switch engage plus some keys and piano. So
Well, you know how I have a hard on for piano.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
I wish I could learn guitar.
So
God, I wish I wouldn't have said that.
okay, so Five Finger Death Punch's new album, it's great.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well.
Which is better than I've given any of the last ones.
I'd give like the last one like maybe a 4 at most.
I'd give
out
it
of
a
10.
2. It's fucking bad.
So, I only got one more topic, and it's really a quick one.
Go ahead.
Old people farts.
What?
Why do old people farts like you go into a bathroom after an old person's been in there, like maybe a 60+ person, and it always smells exactly the same.
Because they have 60 years worth of American food in their digestive system.
It's bad.
It's like Cameron.
I was working with Doris and Tiffany this morning, first thing, and I smelled the old people fart, the generic old people fart smell, and I don't know which one it came from, but
why?
That's what we're gonna leave on.
Well, I had one topic I wanted to touch on.
Better be quick. We got 10 minutes.
It's quick. I gotta compose myself because
We got 10 minutes before Andy has to raid.
I gotta compose myself because I'm smelling that right now and it's bad. Good God. As far as the Podcastrophe fan base, stay tuned for our Facebook. I'm gonna send you some stuff to put on the Instagram.
Okay.
And then the polls, like I said earlier, I'm gonna keep doing that every week. I think 4 to 5 days is the happy number for how long the polls are gonna last. I'm leaving for Houston, Texas on Friday. I'm going to go see my dad and some of my family, and I'm going to be drunk for 3 days. So keep your peepers peeled on the Podcastrophe Facebook page because I'm going to be getting into some wacky shit. And like I said, I'm going to be really drunk.
Live stream whenever you possibly can.
I may or may not. We will see what happens. But I'm going to be shit plowed for pretty much 72 hours. Or 30,
and that's always fun to watch.
72 hours.
In the future, you're hopefully going to be experiencing some quality changes. If you didn't notice, Tyler's using my mic, my SM7B.
Yeah.
And I got a new microphone, the Electro Voice RE320.
And I'm next month I will be updating to the Rode Procaster. So we will both have top tier level quality microphones. Not that the Shure SM7 is not, but my microphone is a condenser, so it makes my voice sound like shit because I yell when I speak.
On top of that, we added a room microphone, so we're gonna see how that works this week in terms of like the audio podcast, but in terms of the live feed, that's what the live feed is hearing is the room microphone.
Well, so hopefully it'll help with videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that are playing through the speakers.
And
so,
because yeah, definitely.
So in the next few months, we're going to be actually moving into a one step at a time. I'm going to call it studio. We're going to be instituting some acoustic upgrades, and we're both going to have upgraded microphones, and we've got the room mic and other things going on. So nice to see you, Andy. We got 10 more minutes, but yeah, we're working to improve the quality of both the live stream and the strictly audio show.
All for you guys.
All for you guys. And we're still not getting paid. So join.
Not yet.
So pledge to our Patreon.
We may or may not have some T-shirts coming your way here soon too. So keep an eye out for that. Once again, we don't personally we're not going to make any money off of that. It's all for the network itself and driving the network forward. So
if you like listening to me be an idiot for 2 hours a day, just listen to our show and throw some money to the Patreon.
Yeah. If you like listening to me be an idiot and drinking some beer and, continuing to be an idiot,
Right.
go ahead. But, that being said, I think we're just going to call it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that. So, as always, you can subscribe to us on Journey into Comics on any of the podcasting platforms such as Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, plus more. Who knows?
More.
You can subscribe to our Patreon for $1 or $3. $3 gets you extra content and early access. $1 gets you early access, and you're awesome.
$100 gets you silicone molds of our penises.
Yes. So if you feel like you want any of that,
Or all of
feel
it.
free.
Yeah, the higher you go dollar amount, the more you get of everything.
Yes.
So if you pledge $100, you get all that stuff.
Yeah. Of course, every week you can join us right here on Facebook Live every week around 5:30. So keep an eye on that. Participate in our chat. We always read the comments if they're showing up at least. And
This is one of the first weeks that we haven't had technical difficulties.
I know it's been a while. Last week went pretty well.
Right.
So please join us live on Facebook. We record Wednesday. It drops Thursday if you're listening. So, like I said, join us live, comment, talk to us. We respond to your comments for the most part. Like 95% of the time we respond. So.
And if you're somebody who has a podcast or an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter, and you're trying to promote something or be recognized, reach out to us. Let us know. We will definitely recognize you.
Yeah.
We'll get a little bit of cross promotion going on. I'm trying to do more stuff with the Facebook and the Instagram, so
I as well.
work with us. We'll work with you, and we all just want to have a big dick day.
Oh yeah. So did I say that last week?
I think so.
I don't
can't
remember saying it. Holy shit! I feel like I haven't said it for a while.
I'm pretty sure you said it.
Oh man, I'll have to check. But
I drink beer, so
I do too. Anyway, so thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for watching. Please make every day a big dick day.
keep your heritage strong.
Bye, guys.
Woke up this morning with my ticket